This is Body-Culinary sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. Hope everyone is having and creating a great day on purpose. And I just came on to answer a question from someone on one of my channels on the Instagram. Asked how I started my locks. So the interesting thing is, oh, before I forget, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like. If you're have any kind of interest in, well, first of all, if you have this fine afro textured hair, if you're interested in starting a garden, if you're interested in beginning or cultivating a personal movement practice, if you're interested in what I will term peaceful consumption, consuming whole, fresh, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts. Cruelty free is how I like to do it, or at least consider as little harm as possible to your own organs and brain and body temple, and then extending that out to the world and the creatures we share the planet with. There's a nice little puppet series on the channel called Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Eat Better. It's funny, it's cute, it's short. Feel free to take advantage of that. Yeah, and subscribe. Share it with someone who you think may find some value. So the question was asked to me how I started my locks. So I have very, very fine hair for a while. It doesn't have any products in it. I'm not twisting it. I'm really about freeing up my time. I just don't feel like doing anything to my hair. It doesn't mean I don't groom. I love to get shea buttered up, coconut oiled up, olive oiled up. A lot of my skin and body care, I like to, how can I say it? I like to consider health is my number one beauty product. So that's my movement practice, and also eating a lot of the things that people would put on their skin. I actually eat them from inside, and what's left over, that's what I'm putting on my face. And I had quite a case of acne before, so that's with no products. So I threw my shower caddy away. Yay! That freed me up. I have been working for some months though with I added back a all natural, very gentle shampoo, which I will dilute and use that from time to time. And I have added a shower filter. But other than that, new products. I feel like I've been freed up from hair gel. So I actually did not intend to have locks, although a lot of my family have locks. A lot of my family, my mother has like locks. I was like, where did she find the time to grow locks down past her butt? But my son had locks. He doesn't have locks. My bestie, she has locks. One side of my family, when I was a little girl with Rasta. Actually, shout out to my cousin Linda, because she's the first black woman I saw with very thick natural hair. But I was doing everything with my hair, which is very fine, delicate. It's not very dense, meaning it's fine, it's easy to break, and there's not a whole lot of follicles. And actually, I only have 40 locks. And it's not like my locks are thick. Like, look at this. This is like, and this is a combined lock. So it's not a whole lot of locks. So I didn't intend to lock my hair traveling in Central America, and not having, well, I wasn't using any products anyway. As a loose natural with, I was the queen of double strand twists, which I think are really complementary to if you have very, what I have in my hair, if you have very fine textured hair. Cornrows, although I love cornrows, I found my my scalp was exposed. It used to itch, even if I paid $100 to get my hair down. And I found it was just easy on my scalp. Plus, when it fluffed out, it made my hair look fuller. So I thought it was, I found it very complimentary to very fine textured hair. Things with puffs, afro puffs, anything that's not pulling on the root or the scalp, I found very complimentary to our hair. So while I was traveling and I was staying out in the bush for a while, my hair would get tangled. Now back home, I had those nice tangled teasers and those expensive combs with the really wide teeth on them, and I had my little conditioners, or I would make conditioner from food, like, I would use different foods to blend and make conditioners. That's what it got to. Maybe I mix it with some olive oil or something. But in the book, I didn't have any of that, so I was just bathing in the creek water. Now, FYI, my skin was superb. When I tell you, not absolutely not one product on it, no nothing. A lot of times I wasn't even using oil on my skin because it just wasn't available to me. But just bathing in that water, my skin and my hair was so soft, it was ridiculous. And every time I would come back to the States, I would feel a dramatic difference in my skin. Also, I'm sure it's the humidity, being in a tropical environment. I can feel the difference in my skin. Actually, on a recent visit to one of the states, my skin felt so dry. Like my skin never feels dry. It felt like parched. So there's a difference, I think, definitely in terms of, I've heard it, but I never really picked it up as distinctly as this recent trip, where my skin felt dry. It was just like, I think it was the water, whatever's inside the water. Even though the water pressure was different than where I am, water pressure felt great, but it was just very drying. The air and the water was very drying to my skin. So that being said, when I would bathe in the creek, I would just massage my hair and I would finger detangle. But after a while, this hair is very, very prone to detangling, to getting tangled. And actually, I think locks are really, my hair locks very easy. My hair get like locked within a week. So it would tangle and I would try to pick it out with a safety pin, right? Because I did not want locks. I just didn't want locks. I like playing in my hair and doing different styles. And so, and me picking out with the safety pin, I started losing a lot of hair because it was breaking off. I was really damaging it. So finally I decided, you know what? I've done everything imaginable with that hair. I've shaved it bald. I've had a short peach fuzz cut. I cut all kinds of designs, which is one of my favorite ways to wear my hair. I've had really nice, beautiful cornrows by some of the best braiders. I was rocking double strand twists, flat twists. Yeah, I've done everything. So I said, you know what? Let me just stop fighting. If my hair wants to lock, let me see what it does. And hey, greetings, I live in California. The water here. Oh, I can't really see the comment. Oh, it's kind of hard to see here. Hopefully my signal is good over here because I'm in Central America. Wait, I don't lose my train of thought. Oh, so I decided to stop. I think you were saying something about hard water, Marna. I'll come right back. But I decided to stop fighting it and let it lock on its own because that's what it wanted to do. So interesting, although I've been natural, I think definitely since the late 80s, since I graduated from high school. It was like going natural all over again. And I've been natural for some years, for some decades, or return to natural. Right, we're born natural, but I found it was like my hair totally different. So I'd definitely have to concede. Loose natural is different than locks, and I was applying a lot of the same principles for my hair care to locks, and especially with, I think it's very porous hair. Or they call it high porosity, low porosity. I get confused sometimes. But definitely, the beads of water sit right on top of my my hair, and my hair used to feel good. Loose natural with shea butter, but everything, like this is like a sieve. Everything gets caught in this hair. It will get built up. So locks is totally different. And there was even one point at which I call it the Twinkie syndrome. Once in washing my hair, and I would just put like simple cold pressed coconut oil or a little olive oil. It looked great, but then once I went to touch my hair, and it felt like plastic, like the inside of a Twinkie. And it took everything. I'm sure I even damaged my hair to get that out. Like cider vinegar. I had never used baking soda before. I used baking soda because nothing would get. It felt like my hair was like melted plastic. So I was like, I'm done with the oil. Also, I find that in not twisting the hair, I find it complimentary because my hair is so fine. Again, these are combined and it's still not very dense, but the fluff makes it look bigger. And actually, this is how I would wear my hair in two-strand when it was loose natural. I would just maybe put a little shea butter and water and have 2 puffs and do maybe 3 puffy double strand twists and then pin it into, like, people call it princess layer, but I would call it my afro puffs. So now I have enough hair to do the same style. So too tight doesn't work for me. Pulling doesn't work for me. None of that. But in essence, I would say I've learned some lessons. So also, this is my style quickie of the day. This is one of my favorite ways to wear my hair because it's simple. I'm in the garden a lot, and I like to exercise a lot. If I could leave it down, I would. But when I'm hot and sweating, and it's very hot where I am, I do not like the feeling of like wet ropes on my neck. So although I like my hair free, and I do think if you have fine hair, you want to be very careful about styles with rubber bands and stuff because they will leave indentations in your hair. And good tip, you most likely will not see it until the lock is fully formed. So I was big on wearing beads and shells. So let me show you the style of the day, my little puff. And then I'm going to take it out so you can see. So all I did is so even today I got a little jazzy snazzy, and add a little barrette. So I'm so simple. I'll take the same thing and reinvent it. So if you look down here, you can see where, and this is probably all going to break off because I used to wear loads of beads and shell. I can't even believe, wow, it's grown, because I remember it was here and here. But, and this is combined. But this was all puffier, right? It's puffy like this. And if you put a whole lot of rubber bands, it's going to get compacted really quick. I actually like the light fluffy. Hey, greetings, fallen skies. Sending you lots of warm, positive vibrations. We're doing good over here in the garden. I hope you still my garden update. We're doing really, really good. So I have to share with you the raised beds that we've really expanded the garden. I gotta go help my sister because she's over there working. She's over there working. But what I want to say, so it went to this style. It was like this, right? Which is hardly, and this is like low maintenance. I'm just not with all that. I got other stuff to do. So then I had just put it like this, right? And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll do a little cinnamon bun. I'll just take and I'll curl these like this. So I always like to play in my hair. And I do a little cinnamon bun with my little 2 puffies. And then here, this is very loose because I can't take the tightness. So I just had, you know what, call it what you want. Everybody got to have that experience, right? So when I was younger, I did not have a whole lot of hair, and I was begging for a perm. I probably had more hair when my mother refused to give me a perm. She made me wear afro, which I hated because I got teased, and I did not want to look like Michael Jackson when he still had his afro, right? When he was the Jackson 5 with the cartoon. So once I saw my cousins with a kitty kid, a perm, when I went over my grandma's house, I begged for her, and she finally relented. But anyway, when I saw the girls with this hairstyle, the girls that had, you know, the softer hair, I always wanted this style. I didn't have enough hair for that style. So I am, as an adult, I have every experience that I want to have. I took myself to charm school. Yes, I did. After a little breakup, I took myself to ballet. You know, don't beat up on your parents. They did the best they could. I took myself to ballet. Any experience. So I always wanted to have a couple of these hairstyles. So I got enough hair for this little hairstyle. So I'm happy. I'm enjoying myself. But anyway, now I got like maybe 3 pieces in this braid, and it may look a little blondish. I'm in the sun a lot. I'm okay with it. I just don't like the feeling of oil on my face. Again, as somebody that had a lot of acne and dark marks, periodically I get a blemish, but for the most part, food cleaned that up right there. So all I did was do 2 quick little braids. I put this on there very loosely. Again, you want to be careful you don't get indentations in it. And then all I did was boop, put another little holder. And this is all loose, so there's no pulling at all on my scalp. So, and I will use these again. Y'all can laugh if you want, I don't care. But my mother didn't buy me these. She didn't buy me these. She wasn't, my mother did I call them the West Indian, Haitian, whatever braids that was like sticking up. My mother, that wasn't, she could cook, but her thing was not, she couldn't cornrow. My auntie Joanne could, but my mother couldn't cornrow. But I wanted these so bad. So yes, I am wearing them now as an adult. So that was my little quickie. So just to demonstrate that I think the fluffiness works for our hair. Again, so it's not so much pulling. And I can't stand the feeling of things getting caught in my hair. So it's puffy here. And I would love to have a thick mane. So when it's puffy, then I can kind of get that mane effect, even though my hair is actually not, it's not a whole lot of locks. This is only 40 locks, over here. So the puffiness will make it look fuller. It's not very dense in the back. Sometimes I have to take it out of here because constantly pulling it apart and 2 ponytails for exercise. I gotta be careful because it will train my locks to go this way. But I do want to know if you're wearing lots of beads and shells, it'll go from real puffy to looking teeny weeny than a pencil. Like this is thinner than my finger. Right? So not twisting it works for me. Plus, I don't have to do any work. I don't want to do any work. My scalp feels fantastic without a bunch of dandruff. My scalp and my skin can breathe. And again, when I'm exercising, I don't have a bunch of oil running down in my hair. So that was simply like 2 puffs. I put into 2 loose braids. I put this on the end, and then you can either leave it out, which I do a lot when I'm exercising, or I can do my 2 little afro puffs. So double strand twists. I cannot see any more of a double strand twist at all in it. So again, I found with very fine hair, it's gonna get really it's gonna get very compact. So you want to be very mindful of and this you might not have a lot. I didn't have enough. Now I have enough to pull it back. So that's why sometimes I would put it into 2. right? So, but if you have a lot of elastic and rubber bands, they will put indentations and make them really compact. And I think I like them. Fluffier. It just feels better on my scalp. So basically, I started with double strand twists. If I had to do it over, I think the loose double strand twist. Now I see folks doing all these wicks locks, which I really, really like. Again, with fine hair, you can never be sure how your hair is going to look, because usually when I would try different tutorials, my hair would not come out the same because it's just not. Actually, on camera, it looks like it's dense, but it's not. This is just a fluff. That's why I'm like, embrace your fluff. I have this thing with I'm not opposed to grooming, but I really have this thing with what I call radical self-acceptance. Really sitting and appreciating my skin, my skin, the shape of my nose, my toes, you know, my little stretch marks from having a baby, you know, all that other stuff. So I'm into like, and it's like the more I do, it's like this little meditation. Go with me here. It's like I find the more I stare at myself, right, with just thinking of appreciation and just looking at what's there, I really start to really like, I find myself smiling because I like my features. So, you know, and this may be hard for some folks. Let me know. If you see a blemish or a dark spot or a perceived imperfection. I mean, you may have tweezed your eyebrows to the point where they don't grow back anymore or something. Sometimes we damage ourselves, right? Always picking at ourselves. But I find the more you stare at what you've got and you appreciate what you've got, I don't know, to me, like a smile comes over you when you really get past the fear of like, oh my gosh, I feel naked. Oh, I got to put this on. Well, I got to put that on. And you just start to really appreciate what you've got. And I find that like a breath of fresh air. It is so liberating. It's so relaxing. Again, don't follow me. Do not follow. I don't say don't follow anybody. But if perhaps something resonates, try it on for size, right? So you can find your sweet spot. That's with your movement practice. That's with your food. You know, go where your results are. But I found for me, it pulls a lot of stress off. And then I start over years to contemplate, who am I getting all dressed up and torture myself with hurting shoes and 20 tons of makeup when I really want to go run and play and sweat, you know, for people that don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So I have found it is extremely liberating, so relaxing, so empowering to sit in radical self-acceptance. And sometimes just work with like, I work with now with a nail buffer, which I love. It makes you look like you have nail polish on when you don't. Because in case you know, I'm a chef and also a fitness coach, and I love to garden, and that doesn't lend itself to a whole bunch of stuff on. You know, I like to be very functional, like, you know, sexy functional, because I got stuff to do, you know, and I don't want to go give somebody a hug and I can leave a big chocolate imprint, you know, on their shirt. So sometimes just buffing my toes, which I think is important to see the color of what's going on in your nail beds and your toes, so you can make sure you don't get any fungus, right, inside your nails, and it's telling you a lot about the health. So sometimes just to see your skin is telling you a lot about what's going on inside of your body. So give you a quick peek. So you can see here, periodically I have to pull it like this because I start training my hair to go this way. But it's not a whole lot of locks. But you know what? This is mine. I love it. Feels good. It feels soft and clean. And it's so light, right? From putting oils, even the coconut oil I used to put in before, after a while I started to get weighed down. So I realized over time the conditioner even was making it a little bit heavy because it's like a fine sieve and stuff gets caught in it. It is a relief to have here. This is so, it's fluffy and it's light and it's mine. So who knows, maybe one day I'll cut it off. I'm not totally attached, but I'm going to have the experience of this hair. I can't even believe, look at that. And it's mine. So be encouraged if you have very fine hair. If I had it to do over, I most likely would just do loose twists. One of the wonderful things about YouTube is you can peek inside other people's kitchens and bathrooms, and they're sharing their little secrets with you, and you can see what they're up to and what they're doing. And you don't have to spend all this money on it, all of this conditioner. I did condition, well, I haven't done conditioner in the longest time, but I did long periods of oil and shea butter and then no oil. And so right now I'm at like no oil, like zero oil. So I really like the light and fluffiness. The sun does bleach it. You got to be careful of overwashing it. But I find, and I mentioned this in another video, there's a video on this channel with a cucumber thyme spritz. Because I'm like, got to be an alternative to rose water, right? Or grow some roses. So I am venturing. Also, in addition to the vegetables, I'm going to be venturing into flowers. So I'm really excited about that. Because look at here. if we have this unique beauty stamp, doesn't it make sense that we should be profiting and developing like trillion-dollar business industry that we can pass on to our daughters? When I travel a lot, it is always disturbing, heart-wrenching, and it makes me really think when I go around the world. And sometimes you see Afro women. I look to see how we're prospering, how we're doing, and sometimes when you see women, some of us struggling, or young mothers. As soon as folks get money, they go right to the beauty supply store to get products, not demonizing it. But this is a whole industry, because no matter how challenged we are economically, we're always going to get our hair done. So just I like to say I live for the day when we are really profiting. Take what Madam C.J. Walker did and take it to the next level. We're really profiting from this unique beauty stamp. We have the shea butters, we have a lot more natural products, but I think there's so much more room for innovation, braiding salons and schools that have our unique stamp of our culture on it. I'm unapologetically putting the stamp of our culture on it, because we're the only ones with this unique beauty beauty mark. How are we going to everybody else to pay for this? If nothing else, at least, in terms of thinking of voting and quid pro quo, shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson, we should be thinking of, listen, these beauty salons should be putting some money out, require them to put money out for scholarships, or to set another standard for safety in terms of the products they offer. And then ultimately, homegrown, our own salons, everything around this beauty mark should be, we should be living off of our culture. But anyway, I just wanted to come in and send you all some warm, positive greetings. And I wanted to answer the question of how did I start my locks. I'm thinking of even letting them combine again. So sometimes I just don't feel like touching it. So it locks together, it joins together very easily, super easy, like after a wash. So sometimes I just don't feel like doing nothing. This is what I'll do. Look, that's it. Maybe a little gentle pull. But I just don't feel like doing nothing. And it's so freeing. It's so freeing. All right, y'all. Create a great day on purpose. I'll see you soon. Subscribe to the channel. Check out what I'm doing in the garden and what I'm doing with Whole Living Foods on Body-Culinary on Instagram, Facebook, and I also have another channel called Peaceful Eating. And I got another channel that's in it that I haven't activated called the Cocoa Think Tank, because I absolutely am in love with learning. So I've been taking on languages and some other stuff. All right.